Africa rising. Swiss companies, too, are able to profit from Africa's growing economy. One such example is Basel-based M&R Spedag Group. The logistics company now has subsidiaries in 9 African countries and employs some 900 people. Its headquarters are in Uganda, and our eco-correspondent Daniel Stadelmann took a closer look at the operations there. The traffic may be a measure of progress, but it isn't a sign of getting ahead. In the capital Kampala, you can usually drive at walking speed only. Kampala has 1.6 million inhabitants, and there's a spirit of optimism. The economy of Uganda has grown by 23% in the past 4 years. Half of the 36 million inhabitants are under 15. Thomas Stroh has lived here half his life. He's a director and minority shareholder of Spedag Interfreight, under whose auspices the Spedag Group works in East Africa. The container terminal can be found right next to the company headquarters, the core of the logistic enterprise. Containers come from all over the world via the port of Mombasa and then here by truck. After being cleared through customs, they can be transported further, usually to other African countries. Although this is a modern terminal, here in Uganda there is a relatively large staff. In Europe, this sort of job would be done by 1 or 2 people. Here, 6 to 8 people are involved, including a pointman who shows the driver where to go. Like this, you soon collect a small army of workers. With a monthly wage of $100 for an ordinary workman, labor costs are insignificant. 7 o'clock on a Monday morning, the weekly meeting of the management, at which each division manager gives a report about his area. The head of personnel tells us that 50 employees have been tested for HIV. Only 1 was HIV positive. For Uganda, where 7% of the adults are HIV positive, this is a good ratio. It's right that they should be aware of it, because of the spread of the virus. And it's important for the HIV-positive people to know that they've still got a job and are useful members of society. Stroh is one of only 3 Europeans in the company. Nearly all the employees are locals, and those working in the office have a university degree. They got their profession-related training here. Business is good. 2 years ago, the company took over another firm, and in the meantime, more than 400 people are employed by the Swiss company in Uganda alone.
Because of the team spirit people have here, and well, basically because I'm very happy here. It doesn't feel like work all the time.
In Africa, far more than in Europe, personal contacts are considered important between business partners as well. One of the best customers of the Swiss transport company is this coffee factory outside Kampala. It's one of the largest coffee exporters and is also in Swiss hands. Loading the sacks is urgent. Coffee is traded on the stock exchange and has to arrive on schedule. An agent of the authorities keeps a careful eye on the process. This cargo is worth $50,000. If a coffee container like that gets lost, it's a terrible loss for us and for the export trade. We therefore need a security concept so that the coffee can be delivered to Mombasa under safe conditions. And we can guarantee the customer that it will be transported by ship from there in the same condition as we received it. After 1 hour, the container is ready for transportation. It may not be reopened again.
Morning. Morning.
The next morning, an important visitor arrives, Daniel Richner. He's the head and majority shareholder of the M&R Group, the parent company. On his way to Switzerland from South Africa, he made a stop in Uganda.
That's always the most important.
There are two things. On the one hand, I am myself interested in how the market is developing, and on the other, colleagues appreciate it when they occasionally see the boss and feel he's interested in them as well. This is particularly important in Africa, the fact that they can feel his identification with the continent and its daily problems. The Swiss enterprise came to Africa in the 80s via a takeover. In the meantime, it has branches in 9 African countries. One of its daily challenges is to arrive at the destination without any accidents.
When did it happen? Last night.
It happened last night. No, the driver's not injured, we're assured by the man who's protecting the wreck from plunderers.
No.
This is a daily occurrence, but we try to avoid accidents like this by safety measures, like vehicle inspections, as far as it's possible. We're on the way to Jinja, a town not far from the source of the Nile. We have a big customer here, a large brewery. Here too, what counts as personal contact. Managers from Spedag Interfreight regularly meet for talks with the brewery manager. There's just time for a short tour for the boss from Switzerland. After all, his company transported all the components for the brewery. Spedag Interfreight is said to be the leading logistics enterprise for major projects in East Africa. Business here is quite different from that in Europe, Asia and the USA. Business in Africa means a greater challenge, as there are more obstacles to overcome. Infrastructures like roads and ports are not up to the standard of Europe or Asia. And then safety on the roads is a major theme. Often the areas where we're carrying out projects are undeveloped, as it's we who are bringing the infrastructure there. Not far from the brewery is another example, a hydropower plant for $900 million, built by Italians and run by a Spanish company. The generators come from Switzerland. The power plant was completed last year. Here too, Spedag Interfreight transported everything but the concrete, a contract worth $1 million. Do you have to pay a bribe to land such a big contract? No, certainly not. That's changed radically in the past few years with the large international firms investing in Africa, who enforce the regulations themselves. Those days are gone. In Africa, it's nothing like so dramatic as perhaps in Russia or South America. Corruption is disappearing. It's anyway a taboo for us. We have regulations that our staff have to sign. We will on no account take unfair advantage through bribes or backhanders. No bribes. That can't always be easy. On the corruption index of Transparency International, Uganda is way down. The port of Kampala, on the northwest coast of Lake Victoria, has had its best days. This ferry used to carry a freight train. Today, its rails lead nowhere. However, there are plans to get the ferry working again for goods wagons. Daniel Richner is optimistic about the future of Africa. I certainly believe in Africa. An African doesn't put so much money in maintenance because he has a different philosophy of life. The here and now is important, but that will change too. They will understand that this sort of infrastructure has to be maintained. Development can no longer be held up thanks to the investments coming in from Europe and China. That will automatically bring changes. I believe firmly in Africa, otherwise I wouldn't be here. Perhaps we'll meet again in 10 years and then we can talk about whether I was right. At present, billions are flowing into Africa from abroad. This is a chance for countries like Uganda and business for forwarding companies from Switzerland.